goes out to this over in League 2 as 2 teams remain and only 1 team can get promoted to League 1. Who's it going to be? We're going to take a look at it, all of it, next. Giving another prediction video today. We're looking forward to the 2021-2022 League 2 playoff final, and it is Mansfield and it is Port Vale. Only 1 team can do it. Who's it going to be? We'll take a look at that and more in a second. Of course, big shout out to the VIPs, they're the Patreons, boys. Of course, if you knew where you've been, smash your subscribe to keep back to all things League 2 related, Babylon Rose related, world football related. We got it all here, boys. Under one roof. Of course, one of these 2 teams will be playing in the 3rd tier of English football. Of course, one of them will have to do it all again next season, but of course, who will they be? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. But anyway, let's recap the results from, of course, the semi-final stages, second legs, and bring you back up to date with, of course, the prediction league and all that kind of jazz. So here we go, of course, recapping the league. That's right, Forest Green Rovers were champions eventually on goal difference, might I add. Since then, of course, the coach Rob Edwards has pissed off to Vicarage Road. He's going to try and do a wonder for the Hornets in the championship, of course, so he won't be in the League One. But of course, Forest Green Rovers will be alongside Exeter City and of course Barton's boys, Bristol Rovers. But who will join them? Northampton, Port Vale, Swindon Town and Mansfield Town were the 4 clubs, of course, prior to this video, were in the mix, of course, midweek. But of course, only 2 have gone through, and I'll show you that in a second. Of course, going down though, Oldham and Scunthorpe, they'll be playing non-league. That, of course, in the Vanarama National League next season. We'll be there to look at it. We'll have a look, think about it over the next couple of weeks. But anyway, that's, of course, the state of play in the league. These were the 4 teams, and of course Northampton Town took on Mansfield Town this past midweek, or was it weekend? I don't know, but we'll recap the result for you right here, right now. Of course, Northampton Town came into this game on the back of a bit of a deficit. That's right, they did lose the first leg 2-1, but of course, could they turn it around in the second leg? No, they couldn't. That's the question. That's the answer right there. I actually went with a 1-1 scoreline in the end, but it was a 1-0 win. Steve McLaughlin on the score sheet, 32 minutes on the clock for Mansfield, in a match that they were not the best. Of course, Northampton Town tried it as they could. Of course, they bossed possession, had the more shots as well, but of course couldn't get the ball over the line. And in total, it was a 3-1 aggregate win for Cloughie's boys. That's right. So he will go to Wembley and take his Mansfield Town boys with him. But of course, who will he take on? Of course, it was between these 2 sides, of course, Port Vale and Swindon Town. That's right. Of course, coming at you from the first leg. The first leg between these 2 sides was what was it? It was a 2-1 win for Swindon Town on the first leg. So of course it was over at Vale Park, and of course after the first the 90 minutes, it was a 1-0 lead for Port Vale. They actually got themselves back into it. Of course 1-0 it was. James Wilson on the 8th minute to level it on Aggregate. But of course no one could be decided, or these 2 sides couldn't be separated over the course of open play. So it went to penalties, and it was a 6-5 penalty win for Port Vale. They go through to the final. They'll take on Cloughie's boys, and of course at Wembley. And again, it was very, very tight. Could have gone either way. Of course, I was reminded by a fellow Roverite out there. I think a couple of ex-Rovers players involved. Payne, Gladwin getting involved in this match. But of course, it will not be Swindon Town. Of course, Swindon Town relegated last season, hoping to make an instant return, of course. But no, they'll have to do it again, just like Northampton Town. And of course, it will so be between Port Vale and Mansfield Town. Goodness gracious me, what a turn up of the events that one. Of course, Port Vale finishing in 5th in the league, and of course Mansfield Town finishing in 7th in the league, of course, so they'll be locking horns again. So remember that, Mansfield Town squeaking in by the skin of the teeth to get into the playoffs. They're there though at Wembley, and unfortunately 4th place Northampton Town, they go out. Wow, indeed. What about you guys? Let's take a look at your picks. Did I get it right? I think I got it pretty much right. So I went with a 2-1 win for Port Vale. It was a 1-0 win, so I'm claiming that as a victory. A draw at the top there, so maybe I got that one wrong. So I probably got 1 right out of that. But did anybody get 2? We'll have a little look. Well, Eman Hussein, a couple of other guys there got 0. Actually, nobody got 2. Look at that. Jimmy Watt, of course, Frosty up there. JSP great, and Ultra, just like me, getting 1 point, of course, for this week's action. What about the mini mini leaderboard. Now, this is from January onwards, of course, and it's actually Deep at the Great with 137 points on the board. Jimmy Watton's up there in second, because that's the mini leaderboard. There's no prize for this one. This is just bragging rights to see who was the best at the second half of the season. But of course, we do have a master leaderboard bubbling behind the scenes, and you could actually be leading it. And of course, there's 1 point left, and that 1 point could be the difference between you winning it and of course you becoming in second place. Also, that point could be the difference between you winning the Predictor of the Month award, and if you are that winner, you're into the hat with the other winners, and of course you get selected at random, maybe live. I think we're going to do them live. In the month of June, of course, so you could actually still win by predicting in this one and only video. Wow, of course. Let's take a look at, of course, how you guys, that's the link right there. This is the one and only game. It is a special one. It is at Wembley. It is Mansfield Town. It is Port Vale. And, of course, a lot riding on this between these two sides, of course. Now, let's get into it then, the deep end. Taking us on the 29th of May, 2022. It is Mansfield, managed by Nigel Clough up against Port Vale and Darryl Clark. That's right. Again, a couple of seasons, was it last season? It was meant to be the year for Port Vale, but they actually had a shit show. Can they actually get it right at the second attempt? Of course, played each other 14 times, these two sides, since 2002. 5 wins for Mansfield, 5 wins for Port Vale, and 4 draws, of course. Mansfield, though, coming to this 83% form for them, winning 4 of the last 6. Of course, a couple of draws in there as well. Of course, as for Port Vale, not great form for them heading into this. 2 wins of the last 6, 33% form heading into this match as well. The biggest win for Mansfield over Port Vale was a 4-0 win, the biggest win the other way. A 3-1 win for Port Vale as well. The goals scored, though, between these two sides, of course, 27 goals scored by Mansfield, 22 goals scored by Port Vale over the course of those 14 games. Works out around about 1.93 goals a game ratio for Mansfield, a 1.57 goals a game ratio for Port Vale. So when you look at the stats, the form, everything, of course, is smelling like it's going to be a Mansfield Town victory, of course. But let's take a look at the games that happened this season, of course. They did play each other at Mansfield. It was way back in October. Match number 13, it was a 1-1 draw. Goodness gracious me. They also played each other at Vale Park this season. That was back in March 2022, not too long ago. 3-1 win it was for Port Vale way back when. In fact, though, another stat that's going against Port Vale is of the last 6 occasions, Port Vale have only won twice, of course. Mansfield also winning twice, though. In fact, over the last 6, when I look at that now, it's quite even, bloody Steven, of course. So 6 games played over the recent times, 2 wins apiece, 2 draws. So heading into this match. Well, Port Vale, though, their last run of games, of course, picking up a 6-5 penalty win over Swindon Town. Prior to that, they did lose to Swindon Town over at Swindon. And their last game in the league season was a monstrous win over already promoted Exeter City. Mansfield Town, on the flip side, of course, coming to us on back-to-back wins, beating Northampton twice, both home and away. Of course, the most recent result was away. Of course, prior to that, they also picked up a monstrous point over the eventual League 2 champions, Forest Green Rovers. Wow, indeed. What about, of course, the odds then? The all-important odds. Of course, now this is the result after 90 minutes. 7-4 is your Mansfield. 7-4 is your Port Vale. The bookies cannot separate them. And 2-1 is your draw, of course. Where's your money going to go if you're a betting man? Of course, what about the actual overall odds to get promoted as not champions, as of course a playoff winner? Well, again, the bookies cannot separate the two sides. Both Mansfield and Port Vale, 11-10 on. They cannot separate them. Can you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. But also make sure you get your pick in to get the point on the board. It is free and all that kind of stuff. But in my gut, I've always had a bit of a soft spot for Mansfield Town. In fact, let me go back a little bit before we make my decision on this one. I want to actually see the journeys for the season. Of course, I think Mansfield Town struggled way back when they did. They started off very, very shit. It wasn't until around about match number 18 they clicked into gear. From match number 18, they surged up the table. As for, of course, Port Vale, they've had a bit of a wonky start as well up until around about match number 7, and then, of course, they've been in and around the playoffs throughout the whole of the season. But Mansfield Town have been on a journey, a struggle, a passage to right to passage. That's right. That's the phrase I'm going for. They, of course, for me, have earned the stripes here. They've earned the spurs, and I'm actually backing them to go the distance here and finally get it right over the line. 2-1 win it will be for Mansfield Town for me on my pickery. It's going to be tight. Small margins of errors between these two sides, and just a 1 goal will nick it in the end. Whether it's a lastminute.com set piece or something like penalty handball, something like that. But I think Mansfield Town will get over the line and get back to League One this time of asking. Of course, as for Port Vale, of course, I think they'll be in and around it next season, of course. And once we know the 24 teams that will make up the League 2, I'm going to be predicting my first ever shot at predicting the 2022-2023 League 2 season with my early door picks. Of course, a lot will happen between end of May, start of June, and of course end of July. So a lot of 6 to 8 weeks of transfer activity, managerial merry-go-round, all that kind of stuff. So a lot will be decided in between that, so that my predictions are likely to change. But I'm going to give it my best shot. But that is it, guys. Be sure to get get your own picks as well. Cut for just League 2. And hopefully I'll see you back around for next season. Again, I do anticipate we're going to have to wait a little bit for the League 2 prediction because the Vanarama National League playoffs will go on a long time, stretching on a little bit. So we'll have to wait probably into the month of June before I do my my picks on that one. But that is it. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about this final. Do you think it's Mansfield? Do you think it'll be Port Vale? And what about next season? Do you have any early indications? Look at Bradford City with Matey Boy, Sparky Hughes. What about who else has just gone down? Crew Alexandra. Can they bounce back? Of course. And some of the big boys, of course. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about the new season down below so I can also bear that in mind as I make my picks for next season. But that is it. Smash your subscribe, smash the thumbs up, smash the little bell. I'll see you, of course, next time around.